to the greatest of the greatest. A podcast that you never knew you needed. With interviews from people you have never met, or maybe you have once or twice. Asking questions and knowing more than you want to know about them. You are listening to Full Buddy Cast.
All right, everyone, thanks so much for listening to another episode of Full Buddy Cast Presents. Just a special episode. We've got my Uncle Rob, the Dad How Do I guy. You know him from YouTube, but I know him as my Uncle Rob, okay? But this is how you know the DHDI guy. Is that how it goes?
That's what they're abbreviating that, so...
So, just as a reminder to everyone here, and don't take this, the wrong way. Anyone who's listening, I've had this podcast, a little bit about me. 5 years and a few months, plenty of episodes, almost probably 400 episodes now. Several guests and people involved in this. I've done videos and live events. Have done had people on from former football players to business owners to we even had Tim Noah, a child entertainer. Well, he's not a child entertainer. He's an entertainer that entertained children. Anyways, I've had a lot of people on here, doing it, grinding out, the long haul of just trying to get people to listen, and then pandemic hits. My Uncle Rob grabs a phone, talks to his daughter, my cousin Christine. They create a YouTube channel on how to tie a tie and do other like teaching type things. Like I think there's another one of how to change out a toilet or something like that.
Haven't done that yet.
What was the one that you
But I will.
Unclogged?
You were hoping I would change out your toilet.
My dad did
you
that.
You keep pushing for that.
The dad, I feel like I should have copyrighted that because actually mine's different. Mine is Dad, will you do? Dad, will you do this?
Absolutely. I've learned a lot from your dad too.
So then you, I know we're going to kind of talk about this a little bit more, but flew ahead of the charts. 3 million subscribers now. YouTube, even more probably. Where are we at now?
A little over 3.5.
3.5 million people listening, watching, being a part of your life, having you, they're inviting you into their lives, comments galore, shares galore. So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And then since I'm your nephew, we've been around each other for quite a while.
Yeah.
I've got my own questions, and we've also got some listener questions.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So do you want to kind of, I don't want to take away from your book because I want everyone to read your book and buy your book.
Yeah.
And then I want you to put that in your will at some point for me.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
That's it? Okay.
That's it. And
you don't ask much, Travis.
and a few more things. Uh-huh. But actually, before we do all this, I do want to, let's warm me up. Okay. I like to do this with the guests. It's called rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Where questions are fired rapidly and answers are given in a blink of an eye.
Okay.
All right. So let me know when you're ready. Are you ready?
I'm wondering what these questions are.
It's basic questions.
Okay. Like, what's my name?
Basic
I think
questions.
I can handle that.
All right. On your mark, get set, go.
Go.
You're supposed to ask me the questions.
I'm asking the questions?
It warms you up. No, I'm kidding.
What have I walked into?
No, I'm kidding. All right. So rapid fire questions. We're going to do this so people can kind of relate to Let's do that. Right. What's your name?
Okay.
What's your name?
Rob.
Birthplace.
I was born in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay. And then first grade teacher, if you can remember your first grade teacher.
First grade. I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
It was Sister Catherine.
Sister Catherine. Was she a teacher in multiple grades of yours or just the first grade?
Just first grade, yeah.
All right. First friend that you remember making on the elementary school, or no, the Catholic school playground, recess, classroom?
John Manning.
And how did you guys connect? What did you guys do?
I don't know. I think we were a couple nerdy boys, and I remember he's the first. This is so weird, but the first kid I ever met that I learned his phone number And I wrote his phone number like everywhere at our house because I thought it was so cool that I had this number that I could actually call this kid. I don't know anything more. I don't remember anything more about him than that.
And did you ever call it?
I must have. I don't know. I don't know if I was allowed to.
Have you ever seen the movie or the show Lost, where the guy just has the same like 12 numbers in his head? Remember Lost?
I have never really. I've seen a little bit of it.
You actually remind me of the main character. I remember this like back in the early 2000s. I remember.
I've heard
I think
that.
We've talked about that.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
All right. So now let's peeling back. First sport that you remember playing as a like rec league, like as a kid.
I wasn't allowed to play football, so soccer.
Soccer?
Yeah, I played soccer when I was in 2nd grade and then got to play baseball in 4th grade. But I wasn't allowed to play football. My mom wouldn't let us until I got into junior high.
In junior high, was it surreal? Was it something you've been looking forward to since you were a kid to actually go out there and play?
Play football?
Yeah.
It was good, but, I was kind of short and chubby at that time, and so it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be when you're getting beat up by the kids that have already matured, and got their size and they're pounding on you.
And probably played for a while too. They probably know a little. I mean,
they played
you used to
Pee-wee
play
and
a
stuff.
ton with your brothers, right? My dad and
Right.
or the uncles, and so
Yeah.
But so you knew how to play. You watched the game, just never allowed to play it.
Right.
So as a short chubby guy, where were the center? What were you playing? What position?
I wanted to play tight end because I felt like I had good hands. I can catch the ball well. But that didn't translate as into tackle football.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so then do you remember getting your hardest, like when that first year, second year, when you delivered your hardest hit to somebody and then also the opposite where you just got creamed by somebody?
Honestly, I remember getting pounded. I got a chance to try out move up to varsity, and when I was in 8th grade, because it was, junior high was 7th, 8th, and 9th. And when I was in 8th grade, PE, I'm good, because I'm not getting hit and I can catch the ball and stuff. But so I got a chance to go try out for varsity, and they moved me up, and I just got hammered. Those guys they took it. They just loved the idea of being able to pound on the guy who thought he was. Yeah. So, and then I don't think I really delivered hard hits until I finally got my size when I was a sophomore. Then I was able to.
And then what were you playing on defense?
When I got my height, I played outside linebacker and I played tight end.
Gotcha. Tight end on offense, and then did you? Were you, because of your hands, were you picking people off, causing fumbles? What were you as an outside linebacker? You probably don't get to it unless it's up the middle throws. I
didn't get a chance to intercept, unfortunately. So
batting balls.
Yeah, well, and rushing and contain.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know. Since I got to play college football too, when you're in high school and when you're in junior high, you really see the levels of coaching where you're doing monkey rolls in junior high, and like, how does this translate? And then you get into college and it's like, no, we're just focusing on the stuff that you need to know how to do, and so there's not a lot of wasted time. And so coaches, they don't, and there's favoritism, I think that kind of goes away by the time you get to college. Even in high school though, there's kids that their dad's a coach, or they're friends with a coach or whatever. So there's favoritism. Yeah. So I was
politics
fighting that too. Yeah, it still happens, unfortunately.
I think we fast forward. So let's say middle school. Where were you living? Middle school.
Yeah, so that was kind of the difficult time where we were kind of in limbo, where my dad. He got custody of us, so that was kind of right around through that whole middle school, which is a little bit of a blur. So I was also fighting that. My dad got custody of us. My mom wasn't able to take care of us, and so he would leave us. He would stock us up with groceries and leave for a week, and then come back. So that was just the younger siblings were at home. Your dad was in the service during that time too, and Mary had moved away. Lori was kind of doing different things. Tim, so we Yeah, we were kind of just in survival mode, to be
Sure.
honest with you, during junior high. So that was an interesting.
And
time,
you mentioned a lot of names there.
yeah,
How many brothers and sisters, just number wise?
yeah. I'm one of 8.
One of 8.
I'm number 7.
Number 7, seventh one.
Mm-hmm.
So then by high school, when you said you were playing outside linebacker and tight end, where were you at that point?
Yeah, that was when I was living with your dad and mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, your dad took me in. He took me in middle of 9th grade. I moved in with him in January of my 9th grade year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Kane just got done mowing the lawn. You commented on that, how nice it looked.
Yeah.
And so I taught him the weed eater. I did a little dad how do I today.
Nice.
Yeah, I pulled up YouTube and just said, watch that, and that's how you do a weed eater, and I walked away.
Yeah.
No, I said...
Good. You didn't say, Dad, come do this? You didn't do that one?
No, this one...
Your dad didn't come over?
No, he didn't come over. So this one, weed eater's pretty simple, gas-powered, so kind of did that, so he got to use that for the first time today. And, actually, as I was talking about this, we're going to bounce around a little bit, but as I was talking about this, I was thinking to myself, like... sometimes when a kid is super tall, my dad has actually mentioned this because Kane was out there helping him stack wood for the winter this week.
Yeah.
And you sometimes see a kid who's tall and bigger, and you immediately think older or smarter because they're just kind of older. So sometimes you forget that even though this kid is like 6 foot.
Yeah.
He's still 13.
Yeah.
And he's still almost 14. And so how tall were you at that age?
Yeah, so the beginning of 9th grade, I was 5'4", and by the end of 9th grade, I was 5'11".
So you shot up.
So I grew 7 inches that
Wow.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so going into high school, when I finally got out of high school, I was 6'3".
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Kept growing. And so again, you think that people can handle it. People can just, you know what, they're old enough, they can figure it out, kind of a thing. Was that kind of how it was? Is that kind of what the mentality was with Grandpa there, or what? When was he like, oh, they can handle it?
Honestly, I don't know. To be
Yeah.
honest, that's thankfully, it's been a little therapeutic with the Dad How Do I, because
Sure.
I've had to kind of relive it, and go back and as an adult reevaluate and kind of think, okay, what was the thinking here?
Right.
And I don't understand quite how he got to the point that he got to, where he got so callous. I think that he just kind of wanted to move on. My mom was difficult to deal with, and I'm sure you've heard the stories from your dad. And so I think the stress of that, and then he was staying, with another gal when he was gone for those weeks. And so I think he just finally convinced himself that I just need to set myself free from this and not really think about the ramifications of the fact that there's kids involved, you know. And so, I as I pieced it together, I think that was it. And I'm not trying to throw my dad under the bus by any means, because thankfully, I forgave him, and I share that in my book about how difficult that was. Your dad was a big part of that, and we would talk all the time, as you know.
Yes.
We would talk on the phone for hours.
Yes,
and
cold dinners. We had some cold dinners waiting for Dad to get off the phone.
talking through things, because
Right.
it was, it's tough. Yeah, everybody's gone through something, I'm sure, but I'm trying to encourage people to understand that you can move past things too, so not to live in the past. And thankfully, like I said, I think a big takeaway from your dad was that he didn't let me play the victim. Even though I think I had a legitimate victim card,
Sure.
your dad wouldn't let me do that.
Yeah.
And I've shared that, coughing up hairballs was literally what, literally, maybe not literally, but felt like it.
I was wondering where you're going with this.
I was coughing up hairballs. I'm a cat. But there was tough times, trying to get rid of that, and I finally had to forgive him, just because I felt like it wasn't productive for me. I needed to let that go, because if you're waiting around for somebody to ask you for forgiveness, it may never happen,
Right.
And
Right.
so I needed to do it for my own
Just do
mental
it
health, and I'm
yourself, yeah.
so grateful that
Yeah.
I've gotten past that.
That's good. Now, are you an overthinker? Like, do you dwell on this? And are you a type of person, because I'm kind of that way, where I'll have like a million thoughts in a day, and then I'll go to sleep and I'll try to decompress all those thoughts and fall asleep.
Yeah.
But Jamie, she's very, I'm like, hey, how was your day? What'd you think about work? And I'm like, okay, well, what about work? Just work. And I'm like, well, have you thought about this, and this? No, just think about work. And I'm like, that's what you think about the entire time? That's what they pay me for. So
Yeah.
I guess for me, I'm always everywhere else. Now, were you dwelling, you said mental health, was it a constant thing in the back of your head? Or?
Oh yeah. No, I would chew on it over and over again. And so, yeah, I'm an overthinker. I think that's a Kenney trait.
Is.
I think we all
overthink and overtalk.
Well, some of us overtalk. But I think, I think, I mean, we all tend to beat ourselves up and stuff. And I think that's more common than people want to admit, maybe. I think, but I've seen it in our own family for sure, that we overthink things, and man, we're just, beat ourselves up too.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing I've tried to do, is trying to be kind to myself. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important too, to be able to let things go.
When you started the Dad How Do I channel, I know that you didn't think anything more than what, 2 people would watch it? No, I'm kidding.
About the same as yours. What?
Oh, millions. That's what I was thinking.
I thought 30 or 40 people. Thought I'd just help people, and I was, there's some things I've learned the hard way over the years, and I just thought, it'd kind of be a cool legacy to leave, that maybe you could help somebody that needed a little bit of help. And I had no idea it would turn into what it has turned into.
And so, because you were talking about your mental health and chewing on things and all that, how long did you think about starting this channel? Was it almost a snap decision, or was it like planned it in a few weeks, or what?
So I came up with the idea a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, a couple years. It's been 3 or 4 years now, because we're a year and a half into this. But
right.
So I thought of it, and I mentioned it to Christine, because I talk to Christine all the time, and Kyle too. I talk to my adult kids about adulting, about different things, and Christine has shared in the past about what other people do, and she would run into people in their groups or whatever at church, and people would share some of their stories, how they don't have anybody to turn to with things. And obviously that's a little bit difficult with a YouTube channel, but I am grateful that I am able to also do some dad chats, because there's so much more to being a dad than just fixing things. You got to walk alongside your kids and try to guide them. And so anyway, I thought of it, and the name, you probably heard me say this before, but Dad, How Do I? Pictured one of my kids in the other room saying, Dad, how do I?
Yeah.
And then I'd come running or what have you to fix something. So, anyway.
So what made you when were you getting pushed off the cliff at that point? When you're like, I'm going to do this?
Because of COVID.
Yeah.
I was at home, and, I work from home anyway, but I go out, and, I'm fairly busy with my regular job. But I was kind of trapped, and I couldn't go see anybody, So Christine was, Dad, you need to do this. You need to do it. And I thought, you know what? I can tie a tie. That's easy one to start with, and not much of a commitment, and just did it and threw it up. And Annalie rolled her eyes,
Your wife,
great.
Your wife,
my wife, Annalie. Yeah. And then I did How to Shave right after that too. So, and there, it wasn't that hard. I needed to shave anyway. So,
and tie a tie probably for some Zooms and stuff like that.
And I'm just, recording on my phone, and I'm
Sure.
still even recording on my phone. I probably need to upgrade at some point.
Well, one of my friends, he was Mauricio, but it's Mo Valencia. He was at Calvary Chapel back in the day, and he as soon as you kind of kicked off, man, that guy called me more than I don't think he's called me since, but good guy. But I mean, he's just like, your uncle is a genius. Like how he even has his lettering and how he keeps his titles super basic. And even his, his thumbnail doesn't have like 4 or 5 different things on it. It's just him, picture of him. He's got his glasses, he's got his look, he's got everything dialed in, and it's just a simple, crisp, clear. But was that ever a did you
think that through.
Yes.
No. The bummer is that, I like the hat I wear, and I don't feel like I can wear it in public anymore because, I don't want to be recognized. So, and that's a bummer because that's one of
favorite hat.
I like those hats. Yeah.
I'll get you Tim Noah, like those big old rainbow hats. If
There you
want.
go.
Then no one would recognize you.
Yeah. That's good.
So you just kind of just said, okay, I'm just going to put this together. How long did it take to even edit the first episode or the first, whatever you want to call it, tutorial?
Not very long. Yeah, I figured it out fairly quick. And I got a great app that I use. I actually need to contact the people because I've been using a free app and I'm still using it. I come into this studio here, Travis, and you got all this fancy equipment.
Yeah, I know. Hey,
I got my phone and my tripod.
Oh, at least you got it figured out. Well, I kind of want to bounce around. I like getting the deep dive, but I also want to ask my uncle some stuff, right? Because you're my uncle.
Yeah.
Right. And I've said uncle, but I've been changing it to uncle. My memories of my childhood with Uncle Rob. By Travis Kenney. So like when I was a younger kid, we lived out in a single wide trailer out in Selleck, Washington. A lot of people that listen to this obviously know that, and they've Full Buddy Cast, they know and they make the joke. But we lived out kind of far away from everything, and which is nice. I never lived in town until I grew up, and so being out there, you didn't see too many people too often, and so it was always a special time because you would go to college. And I think you even would, I don't know. I know that you weren't there every summer. I don't know where you went actually the other summers where you would stay, but there was a couple times where you would be, living on the couch. Yeah. And I'd wake up. You had the first Nintendo that I'd ever seen. I was super excited to play the Nintendo with you. You were a whiz at it. Adam's got a few Nintendo questions that we're gonna throw at you. But yeah, and then just throwing the football around. I remember you saying "chill." First time I ever heard the word "chill," and he goes, "Hey, chill out," because I'm a kid. I'm bouncing around, and he goes, "Hey, chill out, Trav," and I go, "Chill." Chili, and that was my first joke I ever made. And
was that a joke?
You can use that for your dad jokes.
Okay.
But yeah. So now let me get your perspective of the whole thing. Yeah. Obviously, it was awesome for me. But what age was this that I'm trying to remember back to where? Because I know that when you were playing football, I don't think I was even born yet. So, when you were playing high school.
Yeah, you were born actually during my senior year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. When I was playing football
and
in October, and that was when we were playing football.
And you were still living at my parents' house or parents' trailer?
No, my senior year, so they moved out to Ravensdale. Yeah. And I wanted to graduate from my high school, so I ended up moving in with Dawn and my buddy Steve for my senior year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And my uncle Don, how old was he at the time?
He's 2 years older than me.
Okay, so he's about 20 years old.
Yep.
Apartment somewhere? Or
it was an apartment out in Redmond. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you graduated, and then and I'm born. Biggest moment of your life, probably.
It was. Yeah.
It was huge.
I remember
it. Okay, so then you go to college. And college. So when did you come to sleep on my couch?
I didn't know it was your couch. I thought it was your parents' couch, and that was a fold-out bed with a bar that went right across your back. Yeah, but I was thankful.
Yeah.
So so that I did kind of bounce around, like you said. So I after I graduated, I worked for an office supply company, Olympic Office Supply in Bellevue. Yeah. I worked there for a couple of years, and then I decided. So when my mom died in '86, I graduated from high school in '82, and then Mom died in '86 and January of '86. And when that happened, I always wanted to play college football, and so I thought, I need to either do this now or it's never going to happen.
Right.
And so I enrolled at Central and ended up going there in April of that year. And so then, that summer, I probably came home or came to your mom and dad's place and stayed with you guys in 86, I would imagine. And then, so here's another thing too, the Burns, our next door neighbors.
Yes.
So they would come into play with letting me stay at their place. I might have stayed there that summer because I got to go back to Olympic and work at Olympic that summer. That's probably actually what happened. Yeah,
Gotcha.
that summer I probably went back and lived with the Burns and went to, because I needed to work out and stuff, and they had a gym that I subscribed to or whatever you'd call that, enrolled at, or what's the word there?
You remember a membership?
I was a member. And I worked so that I could save for college too.
So, and the crazy thing is, for me, as I look back in this, not as therapeutic as I'm working through all this.
It's not. It's painful.
It's very painful. No, but it's like when you're a kid, an hour feels like a day feels like a week feels like a year, or and so it just seems like time takes forever. But as I look at my age at the time, like I feel like even though it felt like it was my childhood and it was a long time for me, I feel like within a matter of like 5 to 10 years, had done so much in that. So I think I was 10. I want to say 10, maybe 11, visiting you in Seattle. And we spent the day with Aunt Anna Lee and you going to the Space Needle and spending the night out over there. And I'm like, man, but I remember when I was 6 or 5, and I think you were on my couch for like a week, and then play Nintendo. And that's just a matter of like 4 years. And then I remember being like 13, 14 and going to your house in Kent. 14, 15, going to a house in Kent. You're married now. Christine, Kyle doing VBS with Vacation Bible School, coming back, hanging out, playing computer golf, backyard baseball. Like, but you actually, as a kid, things like that feel like it takes forever. But you were boom, boom, boom. You had a lot going on. I feel like
time was wasting. Got to get moving. So, I think so. I mean, I think that things that I think that's kind of that age though too, where a lot of things just kind of happen. You get married and then got a house and and
career, kids.
Yeah, I mean, everything kind of is coming at you fast and furious. And now that the kids are out of the house and stuff, it's a little strange, and I've had to process that too. But it's good. But I have way more time on my hands with certain things. But I'm also, so I am still working. I'm still working at my job because I think that that's the right thing to do because we're closing in on retirement and I don't want to pull up short.
Right.
But I also, I've interviews. And then I have sponsorships, all kinds of sponsorships weekly. I got people wanting to sponsor what I'm doing and trying to, I don't want to lose people. I don't want to, try this video game. What is Dad doing? But some of them are big names. But I also got to make sure that it
aligns
fits
with what you got going on.
Exactly.
And that's why you vetted me for so long. You thought to yourself, I could go here on Full Buddy Cast and really make a name for myself, but I gotta wait a little bit. You name some of the programs you've been in, or you've been on, I should say, in the past year and a half of this whole thing.
Well, so let me give you a compliment first, Travis.
Yeah, sure.
I have to just say that I appreciate your patience with this because I wasn't trying to go, I'm too big for Travis. It was just more. I've had so much going on,
sure.
So I do appreciate the fact that you weren't bugging me. So just for everybody, or the 3 people that are listening to this,
Mom and Dad, and Adam.
Just know that Travis was very cool about it. I know he can be irritating with other things, but with this, you've been very cool about it. So I appreciate that.
Okay, so I am irritating. I am obnoxious. I get that. I know that for a fact. The reason I wasn't bugging you was because you're over here like on the Today Show and Travis Kenney, Full Buddy Cast reporter over here. My press pass in my hat. So you've been on some big things.
I've been on the Tamron Hall show, the Today Show, Good Morning America. Ryan Seacrest, I talked to him, talked to Kevin Hart.
I saw the Kevin Hart thing.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, pretty crazy, a little bit surreal because, again, this wasn't planned, wasn't planning on switching careers. I wasn't planning on this being what it is. But, I feel like I've been given a platform. God has given me a platform to try to, encourage people. And I'm trying to stick with that and doing the best I can to represent him well.
Yeah. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, and then with all that, like, I went on last night to kind of actually this morning, because I was going to post a picture of your book, and I just saw all the other places that you've been on. Like, even people have featured you. Maybe you're not even being interviewed, but they've taken some clips. Everyone's talking about you at some point. Now, do you have to sign off on that? Do people say, "Hey, we're going to run a 1.5-minute clip on you"?
I don't know. Honestly, I've tried to hold it with an open hand and not act like, what are you doing? I don't know. I've tried to be good to people, to let people, but they're running ads. That's the thing is, they write an article about me or whatever, and then they run ads on it, and then they're making money on it. It's like,
you see nothing.
Yeah. So I get that, and we're still trying to find a manager, and we tried one and didn't work out so well, and then tried another and didn't work out so well, and so that's the difficult thing, trying to find somebody that you feel like has your best interest instead of trying to make as much money as they can. And you hear stories about that, about people, it was my agent, and like, I don't want to get in that position, so right now we're just doing the best we can. Christina and I just kind of trying to vet these sponsorships and all that too. So it's an interesting time.
That's got to be pretty easy and stress-free, and you have plenty of time.
Yeah. So backing up, so I got the sponsorships, I got, and then so there's a possibility of a TV show. I think I've shared that with you, and then also so there's a possibility of an unscripted version, and then also a scripted version.
Sure.
They're talking about maybe making a sitcom out of it too, and
that'd be crazy. I wonder who's going to play me. See, that's the thing. If I could get, when I read the book and that full chapter on me, that was pretty,
you were touched,
I was touched.
That I included.
Well,
you?
I mean, I had to write it myself. Those pages that are a little blank, like at the end or the beginning of a book. I just wrote my own chapter in that.
Yeah. Nice.
So hard-hitting questions with some of our listeners, but I've got a few as well.
Okay.
Who's your favorite backyard baseball character? Do you remember? Can you even remember?
Oh, man. So much has happened since then, Travis.
Not much.
Was Pablo, was he a player?
I think he
Pablo?
was. Yeah. He was fast. Computer golf. Now, you introduced me to computer golf. And then you'd click, and then this was back when video games turned from 16-bit, to where you were watching looked like a guy, probably pixelated as heck now. We look at it now and go, we thought this was realistic.
Yeah.
But you would hit into a tree, and then you hear a bird go, caw, caw. And then a guy go, I think you hit the tree, Jim.
Looks like you hit the tree, Jim. Yeah, I do remember that. I don't know how I remember that.
Because you were always
hit the tree.
You were always hitting the trees.
There you go. Kind of like your golf game.
It's a real golf game. Exactly. Okay, so I am not vetting these questions.
Uh-oh.
But I can edit anything here. It's my show.
Okay.
In fact, I'm going to have at some point edited everything to where you're saying Travis is the coolest. He is my favorite nephew. All right. So here we go. Going through these questions. Okay. First question is... let's go all answers. Okay, so ask him what he thinks about his nephew not being able to build a birdhouse. Now, I can build a birdhouse, and that was from Adrian Cardenas. Have you done a video yet, though, on how to build a birdhouse?
I haven't, but I can.
Good.
I've thought about it, but so I have an air compressor and air guns, and makes that way easier. I can make a birdhouse probably in about 5 minutes. So,
can we time you?
You could. Next episode.
Are these pre-cut?
Well, if you were timing me, I think I could do it. 5 minutes. If I had everything laid out ready to go, I could do it.
Oh man. All right. So let's see here. Next question. Adam Kenney, my brother. He goes, this is a video game one. Okay.
Okay. Adam his middle name is Robert.
Robert, named after
me.
Oh, you.
Aha.
What are his best Mike Tyson's punch out strategies?
Oh, jeez.
Do you remember? You taught us how to knock out Glass Joe, and then the guy was the and then Bald Bull, and then also King Hippo.
Oh my goodness, you guys are bringing back memories. I wish I was prepared. I didn't know there was. These are hard hitting questions.
These are just Mike Tyson hard hitting.
Actually, Kyle, my son Kyle, took it to a whole nother level. So he actually could knock out Mike Tyson. So.
I still can't.
Yeah, and he knows the code by heart to get you straight to Mike Tyson.
Like the 1, 4, 2, 7, whatever.
10, like a 10-digit code or whatever. Yeah, it's because he gets in there and
we should have him on. What do we got you on?
You should. Yeah, he's much better than me.
Also, follow-up question: any tips on how to beat Back to the Future for the NES?
Oh, I know this one.
Yeah,
keep using the pause button.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's what you were doing? And so when lightning strikes would hit, you just pause and move to the side, pause and move to the side?
Well, so those dang notes, when they throw those notes at you. You can hit the pause button and then kind of,
You know what would be good is if that would be actually pretty funny if you and Adam did one video, a retro gamer, Dad, how do I beat some of these games? And then you walk them through hitting the pause button and all that. That'd be so good. Please do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Roger Lapham says he's a big Niner fan. Huge 49er fan.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. I don't even know why I have him as a friend. He's a good guy. You should ask, how would one patch drywall if one threw a punch through the drywall after watching Russell Wilson throw his third interception in a game? Your audience would like to know. Have you done a patch to the drywall?
I have not yet. So here's the tricky thing too. That's in my book. And I have to be careful with the publisher wanting me to not
do everything
that's in my book for a certain amount of time. But so that's what I should do, though.
Clause kind of a thing.
Kind of, yeah, because since it's in the book, I think there's a certain number of the ones that are in the book that need to stay exclusive to the book.
Sure.
But I think a lot of the financial stuff can do that because that's a little harder to show on my channel anyway. Yeah. So I might do that, but. That's pretty clever.
You don't have a chapter where you're beating Mike Tyson's punch out of Back to the Future, though, do you?
Not yet.
Perfect.
No, so not in the book. Yeah. No, I'm good.
Yeah, so we can make those videos.
Yeah, we're clear.
Real question: What would recommend doing with all the cheddar he's banking? Which I think there might be a misconception.
Yeah.
Right, because everyone thinks with 3 million listeners that you're also a billionaire living in a tower because you're like a Logan Paul. At this point. Yeah. Which. I don't know. We don't need to get into that, but anyway, I know that you're hitting retirement, so you probably are thinking about investing, and that's what he's asking.
Yeah.
Do you have any investment advice, traps to avoid, mistakes that you've made in the past or you've seen in the past? And is that in the book at all?
It is. Actually, I do have some of that in the book. Okay. And when I was younger, investing in mutual funds and stuff was fairly new, 401k. So I'm dating myself here. It was big to have pensions that you would get from your work. You go to work and pension, Boeing, a lot of those bigger companies would offer a pension, and I think they still do, but they're slowly phasing those out. And that's when the 401k kind of came in, where that way you've got skin in the game, right? You have to add to it. And in my book, I share, I actually use Fidelity, but Vanguard's also good. Kyle likes Vanguard, my son. But you can go on into Fidelity and do your own research, because when I was younger, you'd have to actually go to the library and check out. You actually couldn't check it out. You'd go ask. And I learned this from listening to the radio and this guy called Don McDonald talking about money. And my friend Conrad also turned me on to him. So anyway, it was one of those things that what's he doing? What's he doing? You're just kind of trying to figure it out. But you can go to Fidelity now and research that, and it's very easy. And I share that in my book about, kind of walk you through how to do the research on a mutual fund. And they're fairly safe. And what I always try to recommend, and I got this from Dave Ramsey, is you look at the 10-year track record. Look at a 10-year track record. And if you go into Fidelity, are you learning something, Travis?
I'm learning right now.
I can see that. Are you glossing over? Or are you?
That's
But you can go. So you look at the 10-year track record, and when I wrote my book, I think there was over 20 mutual funds that were averaging 20%, over 20%. If you go to the bank, they're not even you're not even getting a percentage anymore. Right? You're getting like a 1/10 of 1%, I think, at BECU. Yeah, if you put your money in there. And so I think it is important to get your money working for you, so that you're, the goal is to have your investments replace your income. So then you got, that's what financial freedom is. You're past having to rely on your paycheck because your investments are making enough to cover your expenses.
So Adam created this person. I don't know if you've ever heard this before. This is not a joke. This is real.
Okay.
So Adam was at a point he was going to school, and he took a loan out, and he would also spend some of that loan. And he was talking future Adam. Well, future Adam's going to pay this off. Future Adam, future Adam. And so it became a joke in the household that future Adam was going to be this just millionaire, and just taking care of it. And so now that Adam has become future Adam and is paying back these loans, he's I hate past Adam. Future Adam is so mad at past Adam right now.
It is important to think long term about things, and I'm sure that in more ways than financially, of course, to think long term about your decisions, because I think in our day and age we're running so fast, and let's just do this, let's do that, and then hop from this and hop to that. But I think it is patience. A Millionaire Next Door is kind of about that, where or Automatic Millionaire, where you're putting money away, and then over time it grows into this thing. And a lot of people, there's people that might be millionaires that you don't know are millionaires because they're not flashy, but that's part of the reason they're a millionaire. They're holding on to their money rather than
making it last.
Yeah. Yeah, and your net worth, I share that in the book too. Net worth, people think, he's obviously, millionaire or whatever because he makes so much money. Well, but he's not hanging on to his money. So your net worth is based on what you keep,
what you're netting.
Right. Well, no, not what you're netting, but what you actually keep. You take away your liabilities from your assets, and what you actually have, that's your net worth.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's like not the net worth, but is net worth.
Right.
Okay. Cryptocurrency, NFTs. Are you buying into any of those?
I'm not personally. I go fairly safe. I have some Disney stock that I've invested in. I feel like that could do well. And Amazon, as much as you hate them, they kind of rule the world right now. So it's But mutual funds, a lot of times in a good mutual fund, they'll have those too, and it kind of protects you from it going completely away. That's a nice thing about a mutual fund. It's multiple different stocks put into a fund, and then it kind of protects you from putting all your money in Amazon. Then Amazon does something horrible and blows up, and you've lost all your money, right? So,
okay. Well, going from a serious matter to a more serious matter. And I gotta kind of paint this picture for you. Okay, there's someone out there. Her name's Holly. She's a Patreon. I think we're up to 15 Patreons for Full Body Cast. Thank you very much. You guys want to go become a Patreon? Is
Holly the one with the couch? Is she the one with the couch? It seems like I see that on your Facebook that she wants to drop off the couch. Is that
the one? Let's get to her question then.
Is it about the couch?
Dad, how do I sell my couch?
I've actually, I don't have a whole lot of time in my life, but sometimes I'll go, oh, that's pretty clever. Actually, there was something, I can't remember, she said about a boat or something, or using the couch for a boat. You were looking for I can't remember what it was, but it's pretty clever.
Yeah, she can be funny. A blind squirrel can get a nut every once in a while. No, she's pretty funny, and we do appreciate Holly.
Yeah.
So, are you a part of Full Body Cast, the page, or no?
No.
You're just a part of my page.
I'm not part of your page.
You're not.
I'm friends with you, and so here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm so not
social
on Facebook.
Right.
So I only created my Facebook page so that I could see what Christine was doing with the Dad How Do I page, and so I get friend requests all the time from people, and I don't accept them. Right. I'm friends with you because early, people people that I know,
right.
I accept.
Right. So now that now people are trying to find you and friend request you, just so you know, we're probably not going to add it. Don't take it personally, but you can definitely join the page. Dad, how do I like that? And then you do interact with some of the comments that are out there too.
I do when we post stuff. I try to. Some of it's me and some of it's Christine on some of it because I just can't get to all the different ones.
Sure.
But she knows what I would normally reply.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of times it's me.
It's a lot of time it's you.
Yeah.
Adrian, follow up. When Holly said, "Dad, how do I sell my couch?" Adrian says, he'll teach you how to just start a fire. At that point, just burn the couch.
Fire?
Just burn the couch. So,
it's harder to get rid of furniture now. But did I tell you this story? So I went and visited Kyle. And did I tell you about
East Coast?
East Coast. He's in Virginia, and his Annalise cousins had given him 3 couches, and honestly, I think they did it because they had nowhere else to go. Kyle was thinking, I could use a couch.
You can't drop those off anywhere anymore.
You can't. No. You can't. And so this was probably 6 months ago at least. And I think they're getting a little bit better about being able to drop them off. But anyway, they gave him a couch, a love seat, and a single seat. And so he filled up his apartment. He has a 1-bedroom apartment over there. And so I get there and I'm like, okay, let's get rid of these. And so we carried the couch down to the dumpster, and then we thought, well, let's get rid of that other one too. Got rid of that one, and then it turned out the other one actually had fleas in it, and he was getting bit, so we threw that away. So he has no couches anymore.
So he went from having a couch emporium to just empty. Did he eventually buy some for himself?
I think he's going to buy a couch now. Yeah, because he needs something. But those couches weren't. Anyway, I have my opinion. As his dad, I'm a little disappointed in the cousins kind of dumping their couches off on my son. And if they're listening, pretty highly likely because I'm not. You're not my favorite people right now. So
because of the couch?
Because of the couch.
Okay.
Well, there's actually more, but we won't go into that.
Do you want me to edit any of that out?
No. No. Leave it. I'm hoping they hear
it. All right. So since we're already talking about beef, there's an internet rumor that you and Tim Noah just not happy with each other. Is that true?
What?
No, I'm kidding. I'm just trying to. I got to generate some controversy.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Lori Laswell Mechshin, famous shopper in the Four Corners Safeway area. That's how I met her. Yes, please ask the question of how he has dealt with the fame of being related to Enumclaw royalty. This must be asked. Now,
And who would that be? Adam doesn't live.
No, Adam doesn't live there anymore. So I took over.
Oh.
It's kind of like when the brother dies, the other brother kind of becomes, the king, and so he's gone. He's not gone. I mean, he's elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't want this to become a thing. So guys, please don't hashtag this. Please don't start calling me this. I'm asking you, please don't start this to trend. But one of my buddies texted, "Hey, I'm down on Cole Street, the main strip of Enumclaw, where Cole Street Brewery is, and then also Bordeaux Wine Bar, two of the sponsors of the show, as well. Mazzalan's way the heck down there, not on Cole Street, but you'll find Andy on Cole Street every once in a while. The owner and manager of Mazzalan in Enumclaw. Anyway, my buddy texts out to the group, "Hey, hoping to run into the king of Cole Street," and he was referring to me. And I thought, you know what? I've had so many terrible nicknames in my life. I'm keeping King of Cole Street. Oh, wait, never mind. Don't call me that. Don't hashtag that. Don't get that started. But yes, I am royalty. How does it feel? How does it feel though to be related? Like you showed up here. How many people stopped you?
What?
The clearance.
To get through
with
all your Secret Service
Yeah.
that you have out front.
At least 3 of my kids.
Right.
Okay, we're ending this episode, but we're going to move on to the next one. This one it's going to be kind of a mini series. I need to do my thing. So if you want to, while I'm doing my thing, you think of your thing. Okay.
What's
it's called
my thing?
shout outs.
Okay.
And at the very end of every episode, we give a shout out. I give my own personal shout out. You give yours. You can do a couple if you want. Okay. But I'm going to shout out the Patreons because the Patreons need to be shouted out. I love the Patreons for Full Buddy Cast. Let me get into, because this is the thing that, I might have to, there we go. All right. So, naming you off, thanking you for your guys' contributions monthly to Full Buddy Cast to keep this thing alive. Kellen Hall, Holly Graff, Eric Madrid, my brother Adam, Casey Scott, Seth Loop, who's going to be traveling with me at some point to go to Tim Noah's so we can do some yard work for Tim. That's going to happen this Saturday. Whenever I release this, it's going to be in the past. So anyway, Desi B also is going to do that as well. Cassie Spencer, Amanda Keating, Ira Potter, Anon. There's an anonymous out there that I've never met. Shekinah Sarver, Jared Skelly, Homer Robertson, Veronica Lara. Appreciate you guys so much for being Patreons. If you want to become a Patreon and take care of Full Buddy Cast a little bit, please join. Go to Patreon to search Full Buddy Cast. And then also shout out to Cole Street Brewery, Bordeaux Wine Bar, Mazatlan. If you wear your shirt, Full Buddy Cast shirt, or tag yourself in at Cole Street, you'll get 15% off. You get $2 off your first drink at Bordeaux for doing the same thing. And then Mazatlan, you get taken care of there with a percentage off as well. And you'll have to go to Andy for that because I don't think anyone else there knows what it is. So those are my shout outs. Go ahead, Uncle Rob. You know what? I'll save my shout out about you on the next one. Your shout out.
I didn't know I was going to have shout outs. I would just say, shout out to my subscribers. Support that I receive to put this thing to where it's at now, and the encouragement and the comments is, it helps keep me going with it. My views don't match my my subscriber count, but I didn't do this to become famous. I did it to download information that I've learned over the years that I thought would be helpful to people. And so honestly, it doesn't, even if I end up with one view, I don't care because I think this is valuable information that I think will help people. And it is a how-to channel. So I recognize that, I'm not somebody coming on with flashy whatever, trying to entertain you. I'm trying to actually teach you some things and I'm trying to put it in a concise format for people. So I would give a shout out to I do got to give a shout out to my daughter Christine because she's such a big part of everything that I've done with this, and without her encouragement and it wouldn't even be a thing. So and help. So
she's awesome. I've always enjoyed Christine, and I like Ryan too, her husband.
Yep,
he's a good guy too.
Yep, they're good people.
Fantasy football's coming up, and he's usually he's the silent killer.
Yeah, he's good.
Doesn't really talk too much trash, and then he always puts up a good fight.
Yep.
You, on the other hand, you are like either crushing or doing very well and getting beat because whoever plays you had the highlight of the best round of their life.
We can talk about that next episode. I'm still bitter.
Still a little bitter about that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. Because I've got a few more. Oh, by the way, I'm squashing a huge rumor. You've got to squash it though with me. It's about you. It's a huge internet rumor. It's making the rounds. We've got to squash that. We got to get it correct.
Okay.
And then I've got my own ideas. I'm sure everyone gives you the $1 million idea.
Yeah.
Mine's the $1 million idea.
Yours is the one.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. So everyone, thanks for listening. Have a great week. Check out Dad, How Do I on YouTube. Go check out the book as well. You can get that on Amazon and a few other places, right?
Target and Barnes & Noble as well.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And then you can listen to Full Buddy Cast on any podcasting station, iHeartRadio, Spotify. So if you're just listening on Facebook, you can jump over to Spotify, iHeartRadio, who else? Deezer, all those. So thank you so much. Have a great week and take care.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, Travis.
That's all I ask. You're welcome.
To the greatest of the greatest. A podcast that you never knew you needed. With interviews from people you have never met, or maybe you have once or twice. Asking questions and knowing more than you want to know about them. You are listening to Full Buddy Cast.